Oh, hello. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I can see attendees coming in. Yeah, we're in. Just before, I'm going to start just yet, give it a bit of time for everyone to enter. Yeah, once we're good, after 30 seconds or so, then I will begin. But yes, whilst we're waiting, please introduce yourselves. I would love to know where you're watching from and who you are. Makes me a bit less nervous because I'm just talking to myself right now, it feels like. Yeah, I would love to hear from you guys. Yeah, let me know. Belgium, oh wow. Switzerland, oh Leicester, I'm from Leicester too. Hello, ECT Colchester, Poland, hello, Abu Dhabi, Essex, England, Leeds, Brighton. Oh, lovely. Hello, Germany, Cambridge, hi Lorna. Hi, London, Cardiff, West Devon. Oof, okay, now this is getting real. So there are real people behind the screen. I'm really nervous. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming. Enfield, Bristol, great. Okay, great. Teach French, thanks, keep it up. We're so happy to see you, no stress. I'll try my best, but thank you. Thank you for the words of encouragement. Yeah, so great. Most, I think, are coming from the UK, and we have some internationally as well. So that's lovely to see. Well, Paris, France, hello, bonjour. Thank you. Thanks for showing your light. Thanks, Olivier. Okay, I'm going to give it a few more seconds and then I think we're ready to go. Saudi Arabia, hello. Barcelona, hola. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. I'm going to do this first bit so the ones who would just come in hopefully won't miss out on much. Salam Peyman. Okay, so hello, good afternoon again. Welcome to my talk. My name is April. And again, as you can see, I am a nervous wreck, but it will all be fine. It's my first time, so please bear with me. But yeah, today we are going to talk about micro habits. I'm just reading the chat now as well. Thank you, I appreciate your comment too. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing my screen. We have enough people in, share. Hopefully this works. Apologies for my messy desktop. Right, I hope people can see my screen. Can someone confirm if my screen is showing up? Yes, great. Okay, we're there. So again, welcome. Let me put this on full screen and here we go. Micro habits in MFL, otherwise known as tiny changes, remarkable results by BJ Fogg. It's not my line. So again, hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is April and I am a former MFL teacher. I used to teach Spanish and French in the UK for a couple of years, and also English as a second language in Chile and Spain. But now I run a startup called Talkie. More about that later. And if you've been on Twitter, you've probably seen me bang on about a speaking app for about a year and a half now. It's taking quite long, but I'm that person, and Talkie is something that I really want to use as a tool for students to develop their speaking, but at the same time, for them to, I guess, pick up the skill and encourage them to improve their habits in language learning. So that's what I'm really passionate about, hence why this talk as well. Now, what is a micro habit? Hands up those of you who have read the book called Atomic Habits by James Clear or has at least heard of micro habits. I'm not sure how I can see people raising their hands. Oh, how do we see that? Oh, there. Okay, a couple of you, I can see it. A couple of you has heard of it. Great. Okay. For those of you who haven't Micro habit is an action that is so small, it requires minimal effort or motivation to complete. It's so simple, you almost have zero excuses. The idea is over time, these actions build up like compound interest, leading to great results. So think tiny, tiny efforts, but remarkable results over time. So why micro habits again? Again, last year I read this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I've been largely inspired by it, and I'm trying to integrate it into my life. But at the same time, even though I've stopped teaching, I can't help but wonder, how can we thoroughly apply this in MFL teaching and learning? As I think I hoped I read this book a long time ago. And I wonder whether we could go beyond the revision techniques that we ask students to do in their own time. I'm so intrigued by this that actually I'm going to start a poll. Bear with me a sec. I'm going to stop sharing. Let's do a quick poll. Now, can you see this screen? Oh, people have already entered. I don't know whether you can see. Okay, so which of these methods have you encouraged your students to practice in their own time? Flashcards, Quizlet, Netflix, YouTube, other. You still have a couple of seconds. 89 have already done it. Wow. That already came up. Can you see? I'm a newbie here. Can't see the screen. It should be up. Pause. Oh no, Pashalina. Okay, so a couple more. I can see numbers. Yeah. Yeah. It disappears as soon as you've clicked on answer. Yeah. And then I will end the poll and you can see the results hopefully now. I'm really sorry for those who said no screen either. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. I've clicked polls already. Okay. Let's end the poll and see what everyone is saying. So as you can see, I'm going to share the results. We have done flashcards, Quizlet, Netflix, YouTube. A lot of us have done that, which I've expected, and 20% other. I wonder then, those of you who have voted other, that's the one we want to focus on today. And feel free to share the ones methods that you found are useful for the students. But yeah, so again, the point of this is that I can tell teachers are already using their own methods and encouraging students to do little but often, like with Quizlets and stuff at home, and that's great. But I wonder whether we could go beyond those techniques and encourage them to integrate language learning into their lifestyle in other ways. Okay, so yeah, let's start sharing. Let's do that. Thanks, Olivier. I'm going to stop sharing now and go back to my my screen. Great. Okay, right. So where were we? Now, again, exams are important, revision is important, but I want, or at least I wonder whether we could add these tiny micro habits, and then over time, students will learn to appreciate languages as a lifelong skill rather than as a subject. So SMART goals are important and are good for setting our directions, but systems are best for making progress, which is what we want for our students in the long run. How students realize those goals, that's what we want to focus on. And I want to, hopefully, micro habits is the way to go about it, or at least it can help them to get there. Now, first, before I go on to the practical ways, I find it's very important for students to understand how the habit loop works and the rules of behavior change. Like I said, when I was teaching, I tell Freddie, okay, go on Quizlet or go on this tool 3 times a week and you'll see yourself improving. But then it ends there. I don't know if you felt this way before, and then have Freddie doesn't stick to it, or you just need to encourage them, motivate, check in on them every, I don't know, week or so, call the parents and make sure that they are, doing their revision. And it gets a bit tedious and frustrating. But I wonder if students really truly understand how habits work, then it would give them, it would be more beneficial for them. It would make them do it themselves and make it effective for themselves. So first things first, make it obvious. Here's your cue, and visible as well. We've said this before as well in Parents' Evening. Set a time and place at 6:30 before you have your dinner. Go open your Quizlet app for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so whilst you're sitting on the couch and waiting for the food. I don't know, that could be a habit. But also, what if they could leave sticky notes on the bedside table or on their desk where it's super visible, and they could revisit it for like a minute or so and then longer after their homework. Habit stacking is one thing that is very, very effective. There are two ways to go about it. You can say, Freddie, after you've done your, I don't know, bit of workout, I will go on this app or watch a bit of YouTube in target language. Or whilst I'm doing this current habit, I will also do this on top of, that way you don't forget. Now, that's the first part. Second part is make it attractive, which I didn't emphasize enough with my students before. James Clear argues that there is this thing called temptation bundling, where you associate a positive experience with the habit that you are trying to integrate into your life. So what does that look like for teenagers? Netflix and subtitles, obviously, everyone almost watches Netflix. Speaking to a friend, and then maybe try and speak in TL for a bit. Cup of tea, 1 page a day, maybe in that cozy corner, especially winters here. So anything that is enjoyable for them, this is going to look differently to everyone. Everyone's got their own interests. Everyone has their own definition of fun. So I think it's important for them to explore that and then try and see if they could marry their interests. I think MFL is in a really good position here. Unlike other subjects like maths and science, with MFL, you could, marry your interest and put those two things together. So I think we're in good stead. Third rule, make it easy, reduce friction, and always remember the law of least effort. I feel like students need to refrain their thinking, and instead of saying, I need to revise every day, there's that 2-second rule that James Clear talks about, where, Freddie, just open your notebook and review 1 page. And from there, once they get into the habit of just taking that 2 seconds to open their book, over time, he argues that that would lead on to maybe 1 minute, after 3 minutes, after 5, after 10, as it gets easier over time. And finally, which I really want to emphasize, is make it satisfying for the students, for themselves. Students need to see that they are making progress themselves. And I really recommend it to make it visual. I myself am using an app that I recommend. It's called Habit Daily Tracker. Don't worry, I will send out this presentation in all the links if you have, if you want these links. And if not, if you're not an online techie person, students can also just simply tick at the back of their book, buy a small calendar, cross off, or maybe a coloring book to make it even more visual. For the creative ones, they could do a bullet journal. And I'm also going to send out a habit tracker in a PDF format that you could easily print out and send to your students as well. Again, I will explain more of that later. I'm seeing some raised hands and a bit of chat. I'm really sorry for those who have missed. I don't know if you have any questions, please feel free to put them on the Q&A and I will go through them later. Okay, so again, importance of understanding the habit loop, I really think would make a lot of difference for these students and yeah, improve their habits over time, not even with just language learning. By the way, just to note, teachers, I myself am a fan of rewards, but just as a caveat. We have to be cautious here with using rewards, as it can snuff out the third drive, which is the intrinsic motivation for the student here. And we don't want to undermine that, especially if they are already having fun with the activity. So just ease off the rewards, maybe for a bit. I mean, I know it's important, but yeah, I just thought I'd mention, it's worth mentioning that. I'm pretty sure, yeah, people are already aware. Okay, so enough about me, about atomic habits. I hope I did that justice, but if not, there is a very, very good video, really comprehensive, about the book, and it's very visual too and appropriate for students. So I recommend If you don't have time to read the book, there is the link to this video, and you could watch it in your own time, and your students as well. Now, on to the practical ways and things that I've tried and tested, and some are just ideas, but I really am excited by them, and I hope that they could find a place in your classroom and also for your students outside a classroom. So first, inside a classroom. I thought it would be worth adding this. I know MFL teachers are masters of routine. We know routine is important and you do so much already in classrooms, but I wonder whether we could do these smaller things. Susie Marvin has raised her hand. How can we watch the presentation? I think the link will be sent out. Sorry, I'm going to answer most questions. All of the questions as much as I can. If you could put that on the question box, and then we're going to go have a Q&A afterwards. I'm really sorry. Okay, so back to the presentation. So inside a classroom, I really thought it'd be nice to have these mini tiny micro habits in the classroom, just to send out the message that yes, these things could be done, and despite our busy schedule, and that it's quick, it's doable, and it can be fun. So some ideas. So when I was teaching, we used to do a mind map, a visual mind map every half term as part of their homework, just before the end of term assessments. But then that gets forgotten about after months and doing other stuff too. And it's a real shame, I thought, for me and for the students. So an idea is to maybe have a quick fire revision and revisit those notes because they're still just as useful. Choose a partner and test each other's vocab for 3 minutes. It's bite-sized, it's social. Every now and then, if you can make it every Monday or every Friday. And again, it doesn't have to take really long, and it shows that, these things, could have an impact over time. We have also the word or phrase of the day. Create a bank of useful vocab with your class and just put them all in a cup or a hat or whatever suits. And then if you have time for plenaries or as mini breaks, you could pick out one word and say, okay, now in pairs, turn this into a sentence or create a convo out of it. This allows for spontaneous speaking. Again, very low stake environment because they're helping one another to create. And then over time, they get so used to it that they could do it in their own time at home as well, or maybe with friends during break. Tongue twisters to practice pronunciations. I'm sure lots of teachers do this already, but if you need a bank of them to go to help you get through the whole year, you have Pocoyo here in Spanish and Virlan in French. And daily memes, I know we have to be careful. We're getting down with the kids, and it's, there's a lot of things that are more important, but I also think having that sense of familiarity and that they could see that they could understand these things could make a difference. So I would suggest, because of these Instagram accounts, they're full of memes, they're your bank of memes. But again, some of them might not be student friendly. If you have time, it'll be worth going through them and see which ones you can incorporate into your starters or the lesson. So feel free to check them out as well in your own time. Now, outside the classroom. First, let's focus on vocab and grammar. I know you have your Quizlet, Memrise, and Seneca, really great apps already, but just in case you want to broaden the range a little bit, and if students are looking out for other things, here are a few examples online. So Close Master is quite good at helping students see words applied in a sentence, and it's very low stake as well. And Quick Draw, this is pretty fun. It's learning vocab it's very visual. So the idea is that you play with an AI robot and it tells you to draw something like pastel de cumpleaños. Don't worry if the students don't know it yet. It gives you time to translate or look up the word, and then they could say, okay, I'm ready. And then then you draw, and then they tell you words, vocab, is it a this, is it a this? And it helps you learn the vocabs, but in a very visual way. And in the end, you have this collection that you could take a screenshot of as well. As you can tell, my drawing is not that great, but my students have enjoyed this before, and yeah, you can easily do it in your own time. A free rise is your typical vocab testing drill, but I guess the USP is that, but whilst learning your vocab, you're also giving back and donating grains of rice, which is a really lovely thought and thing to do. And Spanish Dictionary is one website that has improved over time, actually, and I recommend this if you don't have any tools for practicing your verbs yet. This is really good. You can listen to the video and then you can check as well. And also it's just in a written format. Nosotros estudiamos el teorema de Pythagoras. So it autocorrects or it tells you the correct answer and you can continue. So really 5 minutes a day. They could even, I think, select which form you want to practice, like present tense, irregular, stuff like that. And Conjuguemos is also really good. I think now they've really improved and now they're behind the paywall, but it's worth it if you really want to do your verb tense conjugations as well. Yeah, really recommend it. Offline, simple ways you could label one item at home using a sticky note over time. Once you've recognized that word, you can just add it to, I don't know, your mini bank of vocab and test yourself as well every time. It's just there. It's just a flashcard that's not done in one go, but you build it over time. You write the favorite verb you've recently learned on a sticky note, similar to the first one. You need a supportive family member for this, but if you teach one family member one word a day, that could also build up. And this sounds quite silly in the beginning, but I've started doing it for my Dutch. It's all in your head. And before you tuck into your meal, you're learning your food, you just practice and think of the word in TL. And next thing you know, it would then move on to other objects or maybe a verb. I'm sleeping, I'm eating, I'm running, and then emotions, I'm feeling this way, so and so. Quite silly, takes time to get into, but it does work for me anyway, could work for others too. And this one is one of my favorites. You could ask your really creative students to draw or doodle one item a day. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It could be scribbles. Have this mini notebook, and then over time, in a year's time, they could see all these things that they've learned. And it's fun to look at because they created it themselves. It's a nice personal dictionary, visual dictionary for them as well. Again, it doesn't have to take long, 2 minutes scratch, like you see onion done. So those are vocab and grammar. For reading, we have the usual put subtitles on Netflix, but also have you heard of LingoPie? This is pretty new. I have just tested it and it's very good. Can anyone see my screen still, by the way?
J'imaginais qu'on allait écrire une note.
Can anyone see? Yeah. Okay. So as you watch, you actually have the subtitles here.
Avec des personnalités.
You could, I will turn off you could take off the English subtitles. You could click on the French, and it then automatically goes into your flashcards so that you can review it anytime you want. So it's basically Netflix, but it's geared towards language learning, which I thought is pretty great. Again, you have to pay, unfortunately, but again, I feel that it's worth it for those who can. And also, hopefully there will come a point where, schools can afford these things and have students access it. That's my dream for, anyway, let's not get into that. So we also have IG and TikTok accounts that they could follow in TL. Again, this may look different for everyone and they have their own interests, but student-friendly ones, I'd say for French on Mag for Sport and Pictoline for Spanish, probably a bit higher level though. Toucan. This is great for beginners, I would say, as you browse the web and, it's taking me to the wrong one. You browse the web and you can highlight the words that you don't know, and it tells you automatically what it means. So that saves you time from having to look up the word and you can easily just skim, read, and like, oh, what's that? language. So I thought that's pretty great. Or you could just do your shopping in TL as well, if you dare, and change the language settings on the website that you usually go to. Some might find this difficult, the headline in the news, but read GCSE students, if you read one headline a day, doesn't take too much of an effort. Or if you dare, you can read one article a day in Euronews. They do a really small bite-sized news. There's a video and then there's a small caption as well. Or it doesn't have to be news. If you find that boring, you could read short fun articles on BuzzFeed as well. And this one I really, really like. This is for, I'd say, French A-level students. It's called the Daily French Newsletter that they could subscribe to. And this guy sends emails every day. And not only can you practice your reading, so you get, say, the song of the day and things that are of interest in a particular time, but you can also listen to the newsletter if you prefer it in audio format, or listen and read.
Bonjour à tous, c'est vendredi.
As you go along. So I thought that's quite great, but again, it's for higher level, I would say. Offline, keep it simple, pick a random page from your notebook, read your notes out loud after your homework, or ideally, if you do have a book in target language, just one page of a book each day. Now, for listening, I'm pretty sure you've all recommended Spotify, so I'll go through that. But have you heard of Lyrica app, where you can discover new songs, but at the same time have mini exercises and learn the vocab that way? And also we have lyrics training, which I'm sure lots of you have already heard of as well. It's kind of like karaoke, but again, in target language, and it helps you with your vocab and listening. And then you could also watch a short clip. Brute FR and Brute ES is really good. They are short videos. They have subtitles. They are very relevant. They have tons of videos that students could choose from. They could easily, what I usually do, so I don't forget, is I have a bookmark. So Dutch, for example, I'm learning Dutch. Then they could just bookmark it and then say, okay, it's French time. I would just simply go on it and spend a few minutes. So apart from that, they could simply watch The Simpsons in Spanish if they want to, English subtitles optional, if that's a habit already anyway. Or some students I've had for GCSE said that what they found really effective was they take a yoga or makeup tutorial, but find influencers and they watch them religiously because they're really into them. And for some reason, actually, I found that there was a change of confidence and intonation as they start to mimic them. It's quite funny to see, and it's amusing, and it's nice that they're starting to pick up these real life authentic resources and incorporate that into their own daily life. Other appropriate ones that really easy to get into is Easy Spanish and Easy French on YouTube. And also there's Dreaming Spanish, which is quite good, I thought, because this guy
Hoy os voy a hablar.
Does a lot of, he speaks very slowly, makes it visual, tells the story, but at the same time, makes it really, really easy for students
Cada día,
to understand.
desde que me levanto hasta que me duermo.
So this one, you don't need subtitles, hopefully, as these vocab are already being taught in classrooms, and he tells stories in his channel, Dreaming Spanish, highly recommend. So that's listening. And writing. This one is the trickiest one, I thought, but there are ways. I would say reading is obviously the key part. The more you read, the easier it is, and it helps you with your vocab. But also, if you want, you could start your day journal. Don't know if you've heard of this app called Day One, where you can just sum up your day in one line, in your target language, of course. You could do it via this app, or just have your own notebook and just put down the date and just write one sentence. It takes seconds. And also, if you're running out, if you don't want to talk about your day, you could simply look up 365 journal prompts. It would ask you several questions and then you answer. I guess it could be GCSE questions too, one per day, tackle that. But if you want to make it more personal, and I guess things that you really want to talk about, look them up, journal prompts 365. Or if you really just want to make things simple, and this could be effective for those who you really want to monitor, I'd say the ones who would be in the intervention list. Choose one word as prompt from your notes at the front, and then go at the back of your book and write one sentence a day. That way it's less daunting. You don't ask them to write a whole paragraph to begin with. And you see, if you want to check at the end of the week or every fortnight or so, see these things accumulate, and then they can see like, okay, I can actually write sentences independently. It's just a matter of putting them together. Or make it social, find a buddy from class and message each other in TL. A lot of students, I think, are already doing this. Or my students did this before GCSE and they find it fun, and it could only help. So recommend it too. Now, for speaking, it could be as simple as practicing one word or sound, rolling the R's whilst you're in the shower, or just before closing your book, you just focus on that one word and just say it out loud. Or like what we said in the beginning, read a tongue twister out loud a day. Pocoyo is a very student-friendly website. This might sound very cringe at first, but I've tried it. It's just a matter of getting over yourself as you watch Netflix and as you have the subtitles on. Play actor a little bit and repeat any sentence you like whilst watching. It gets you over yourself, and it helps you, get out of your comfort zone and start thinking that identity of like, I'm someone who can speak Spanish. Or if you want to do that with someone, find a buddy, send each other voice notes in target language regularly as well. We have these audio tools now on WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. Make use of it. I think even Facebook has 1 minute, what's it called? 1 minute limit, so you don't have to talk for long as well. And this one I particularly like because it's already habit. Brush your teeth like Joe Franco. I'll let you watch.
ما اتكلمتش عربي بس دلوقتي أنا بفهم شوية بتكلم شوية. إحنا اتكلمنا عربي مع بعض. لا أنا بكلم عربي نفسي كل الوقت على طول. مبروك جوانا. أنا الوحيدة هنا بس بكلم عربي نفسي. أنا كويس أوي ما فيش مشكلة. عايزة أحكي كيس على العالم كله. بكلم أنا نسيت كل حاجة. صاحبتي الأنتيم مصرية هزور في مصر. عايزة أتكلم عربي لبلب. أنا مش مبسوطة. It's okay. واحدة Joanna. This is fun. من شهرين.
I'm going to end it. I hope people managed to listen to that. I wasn't sure whether the audio was working in the beginning, but that's Joe Franco talking to herself in the mirror. And let's normalize that, please. Great. Okay, thank you. So there's that. And the last one is Talkie, which is the thing that I'm working on. And there is no product yet at the moment. This is still an idea and I'm trying to build it. I finally have found a tech co-founder. So hopefully it will be available soon. But what is Talkie really? Again, like I said, it's an app that is focused on speaking. And the idea is that instead of students pushing buttons at their own time, which is, what we do most of the time with vocab learning, and it's great and it's important. But I wonder whether we could invite students to speak more as well. So the idea is that you have your Flipgrid, Vocaroo, or whatever tool that you use to record your questions and get students to answer. It's pretty much the same, but on top of that, you have independent speaking quizzes and prompts that they could use. And we want to make it fun and delightful and bite-sized so that it's doable and accessible for students. So hopefully over time it would reduce their anxiety in speaking, and you can give feedback more efficiently if you want to, and they have a speaking portfolio that you and the students have access to. And yeah, it's literally a safe space to practice speaking and boost their confidence and engagement and opportunities to learn authentic expressions. So yeah, that's hopefully part of the solution one day. So in summary, I hope that all made sense. Let's not underestimate the importance of small habits rather than the occasional breakthroughs. I know we keep saying that we hate it when students cram, and it keeps happening, and it does happen, and I guess that's reality. But at the same time, the more we encourage this, hopefully the easier it will be for them to do the little but often route. And one thing that I really missed when I was teaching was that emphasizing the importance of understanding the habit loop. Without the students knowing how it works, I think it won't work. And it all starts inside a classroom. Again, you already do your routines and it's great. But again, feeding these little habits into the classroom, hopefully that sends out the message that it can be done outside, because there's more MFL fun that awaits outside. That's it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now it's Q&A time. Yes. Great. Okay. Thank you. No, thank you, everyone. So this template I will send out. Yes. Okay. I'm afraid I wish I could collect your emails, but that's not really, I think, the most efficient way to go about it. So what I will do, please go on to Talkie the app. I will send it here in the chat as well. talkietheapp.com. Put your emails down, and I will send out the resources by the end of the week. You can unsubscribe anytime. There is no obligation whatsoever. Unsubscribe anytime, or if you're interested to hear more about Talkie, subscribe as well to hear for more updates. And hopefully by the end of the week, I will send this presentation along with the other resources that you could print out for your students, explaining about atomic habits and the links that they could go on. But yeah. Thank you so much again. And any other questions? Thank you. Right, question. Stacey, is there a similar thing for French verbs? I'm really sorry, which one was it? Stacey, if you're okay to clarify, what do you mean for similar thing for French verbs? 1807. Does these apps offer... Whilst we wait for Stacey, I'm going to move on with the others. Does these apps offer a Chinese option? Not at the moment, I'm afraid. I'm not a Chinese specialist, but hopefully over time, who knows, it could be really useful. The Spanish verb conjugating resource you shared. Yes, I believe not conjuguemos. I don't think they have. Let's double check. I have a feeling it's just Spanish, Stacey. I'm really sorry, it's just Spanish for now. But with these things, hopefully, oh, no, yes, Stacey, oh my gosh, yes, they have French and German and Italian, so you're good. Yes, hopefully that helps. Couldn't hear the last bit. What do we need to do to get a copy of your presentation? Please feel free to go on to talkietheapp.com and enter your emails there. It's the link. And yeah, I will send out the resources by the end of the week. And yeah, feel free to, and subscribe whenever you want. There is no obligation as well. So yeah, hopefully that gets through to you. And if you have any other questions, I'm also, you can email hello@talkietheapp.com, or if you're on Twitter, follow talkietheapp.com as well. And oh, thank you, Lucy, for sharing the link again. And I think that's it. Do we have any other questions? I'm interested, since we're all on here before we leave, the ones who have said other, and the ones who have any other ideas that they do already with students and that students think that are easy enough to do in their own time. Any tiny habits that you think would be helpful, feel free to share with everyone. I guess we can all read the chat now. whilst I also scroll up and see if there's any other questions I've missed, feel free to do that. Thank you. Thank you. I think that was great. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for the lovely comments. Thank you. Okay, 3 new messages. Podcast, yes, podcast is something I didn't mention. I haven't seen a lot of beginner-friendly podcasts, but I am assuming it's only a matter of time before they actually do this, because everyone is turning into audio. Okay, radio channel, bedankt. Subscribe, thank you so much. I teach English as a second language to Spanish students, get them to listen to TED Talk in English, transcribe a couple of minutes, and then they check what they have done against the transcription that is available. It's a good idea. TED Talks are amazing. Duolingo as well, yeah. Yeah, I think we're good. Yes. I think I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much, guys, for listening and yeah, staying on and yeah, allowing me to babble on about this. Really appreciate it. And yeah, any questions, feel free to reach out on Twitter. Songs and poems, definitely, Eileen. I agree. Yeah, but good luck. Thanks again. Thank you, Demante. Thank you, everyone. And I will end this session in a bit. Thank you. Oh, let me stop sharing. Let me do that so I can actually see. Sorry, stop share. Yeah. Thank you. Bye. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to end it now. Thank you.